But that's game one. Can Envy find anything better in game two? That is the big talking point. Let's go in to picks and bans.
Benji on his own, will they get the blue from the toggle here? A big time ultimate from Stealth Connects.
They've only gotten one so far. CycloneSpin finds a double. They're going to rush right in. Cyclone all the way to the back line. That's going to be a triple kill. He's going right for it. He's got the Quadra if he picks the right target. Quadra kill, looking for the big one, and it's going to be a penta.
Looking for the big one. Well, they're going to need to find a big win here right now, Envy, because otherwise that record is getting worse and worse as the weeks go on.
8-game loss streak for them right now. I believe that puts them at 6-11. They're going to be joining Randozos and Fnatic, I think, as the only teams in the SPL with double-digit losses.
Randozos with the counter option here as Envy have banned away ISIS at the beginning of the game. Not a big surprise. They need to work out this ISIS thing.
But like that's even on C9, right? That's like almost a weakness for stealth that's been permanent, honestly. Where it's just like he does not like playing ISIS and he absolutely despises playing against it.
But when you're forced into an ISIS ban every single time, I mean,
it's 14 in a row now. Envy has been forced to first ban ISIS every single game.
But you're losing the opportunity of a ban.
No, I agree.
More, impactful.
I agree.
I mean, it's rough.
At this point, though, it's like something that if you pick up stealth for all his benefits, you have to accept that you need to ban ISIS.
Sol will be the first pick for Envy.
Okay.
We did see that in the previous two games against Enemy go the way of Kiki. Will he go back to it, or will we see that on stealth?
And this is still a flex pick, right? Stealth has been picking, like you said, stealth has been picking it up again. Randozos is going to respond with Bellona for Whalrus once again. And honestly, CycloneSpin, there was nothing really wrong with his play individually. It was just like his team was so far behind. And more importantly, Randozos were very good at dealing with Ao Kuang. Every time he tried to aggress onto someone, the meditation comes out, the peels come out from both Leftsyndrome and Whalrus. And Whalrus specifically focused out CycloneSpin every single fight. He would initiate, do a little bit of damage, and then once Cyclone shows up, he's like, all right, this is the guy I need to stick to.
Now, the Sobek pick from Randozos here, I don't understand why they went for Athena. I guess they respected how well Eonic played that, because to be fair, Eonic had a great game on the Sobek. He did a lot of peeling for his team. But maybe they're looking for a Awilix here is the reason they've taken Sobek for themselves.
That's possible. No jumps on Envy, but the Sobek Awilix, a very good combination here. I don't think we've seen it come out from Skeeledon yet. He's really been focusing on, I believe, the Najas and the Hunbats specifically.
But were they that threatened by the Sobek that they really didn't want to take Athena instead? That's what I felt this could be the reason, because I was like, why would you not want the Athena? Athena did triple man taunts every time.
Maybe they just didn't feel like it would be the same, and like you said, they do go with the Awilix, so they were looking for that synergy. And now the ban's coming out. Hunbats taken away from Omega, and Thor's also banned out by Omega as well. So they could honestly look to ban out Naja, which is kind of like the three, I wouldn't say newbie junglers, but the gods that you can be effective with even if you're behind. Maybe
it's
maybe
also
not
the
so
only
much
three we've
Naja.
seen Omega play in the SPL so far. So Hoyi taken away by Envy as well. Kiki clearly does not want to have to deal with Meerkat's Hoyi ever again if he can help it. And there's the Najaban, you called it, and I think that's the right one to do. So we're going to see Omega heading deeper into the Assassin tree, or maybe to the Warriors?
It's possible. I mean, if they had Bellona, I would say so, but I don't know what other warriors can really translate to the jungle.
Hercules.
Well, like I said, well.
Okay. Chuck.
Well. Whatever you're going to say next. Well.
I'm a Terrasu.
Definitely not. Xbalanque going to be picked up as Stealth's Scylla is banned away once again, so... Or excuse me, Envy banned it, so they're banning it away from Maduro.
So Vamana for Envy this game as well, more than likely for the solo lane. That could jungle though. Could jungle, we'll find out.
Talking.
And the last one to round out Envy's composition will be...
Are you serious?
Called it. Called it. Hercules. Like, where do you expect to see Omega? When you think about Omega, where do you expect to see? Now, to be fair, Hercules does provide great gank potential. Great gank potential.
Also
Earthbreaker,
pretty tanky.
Drive and strike.
Pretty tanky. He's not forced into a jungler that has a leap against a Awilix. And this is a god that he is just comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like, this is a comfort pick. And we did kind of expect Envy to bring in some warriors into the jungle role. I was looking at mostly Bellona, though.
I expected warriors in the jungle, but Guan. I was expecting Guan and
Guan
Bellona
as well, I think.
in the jungle, right? Or maybe the Hercules, and then have the good old CycloneSpin assassin combination in the solo lane to counteract,
This is actually a very tanky lineup, but
it is.
Not a lot of, confirmed damage. They have 3 gods that are basically very close range / auto-attacking, right? Vamana, Hercules do a good amount of ability damage, but it's not, always guaranteed that they're going to hit their stuff. And it just really seems like EnVy are going to have trouble confirming some of their damage.
What you say about hitting stuff, Sobek needs to hit that charge spray, Awilix needs to hit that ultimate, and Janus has to hit those 3 space and times on unstable vortexes too. Randozos are up 1-0 over EnVy. Can they make it 2?
However, Mike looks for the taunt. He's going to find it on Verizio. Nice gap shield. Verizio forced to beats, makes it over the wall. Oh! Scary D snipes him out.
Really impressive. Scary D blind shot over the wall.
Stand against the wall, and you see Skeeledon bring minions towards the wall. Whalrus
Turning up this match. First blood on Didios. Looks like they're falling apart. KWN got to Cataclysm. And the time you buster off!
And here we go, EnVy. We'll be playing CycloneSpin as Vamana Omega with a power pot in the jungle is beginning in this game. Do you expect an invade?
They have Wrath, so yes.
I did not even notice that. I was just like, do you expect to see an invade?
I was just like, let me look at relics at the start. Anything crazy? Okay, there's Wrath on the jungle.
Is this just to help clear?
Hercules, maybe. Like, Hercules' driving strike actually does a massive amount of damage. And honestly, this is what's going to be the best thing for EnVy, is that people haven't played against Hercules, even in the soul lane, in a long time. And that's a lot of surprise damage that you will not expect.
So, stay with me on this one,
I'm listening.
But Omega, yeah?
Okay.
Solo laner originally, okay?
Yes.
So what he's going to do is, after he clears the solo lane, he goes and takes the jungle, right?
Okay.
So, will we just see him go and camp the enemy jungle the whole game and just steal everything? He's not going to actually look for ganks, he's just going to become that farmer until level 20 like he's in the solo lane, then turn up at a team fight and kill everyone.
He's going to be the invader, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
I mean, how are you going to stop a Hercules
I don't
invading
know.
you?
This is very fast clear, I think, coming out of these two, though. And Omega, we'll see if he spins his Wrath or if he's going to save it to try and invade. And he will be spinning it. So 60-second cooldown, though. Not that long.
I was surprised he didn't get that driving strike. Was a little bit risky, just picking up the blue buff as you went through with
That
it
would
as
have
well.
been
I was
dangerous.
worried.
That would
But
have been really bad.
Captain Claire, he's going to make it at the same time in the mid lane here. You can see Aduro did take a little bit of poke coming out there from Stealth, who is playing the Sol, and obviously Medusa for Kiki, which we didn't really touch on too much, but that nice easy Taunt, Petrify combination for the duo lane. Plenty of purification burners on the side of EnVy here.
And both teams going to be splitting mid camps. I really like the ward coverage coming out from Randozos. You can see Leftsyndrome has placed wards on the bottom and bottom right side of the mid camp. So Randozos is going to have full vision of just this and throwing. It's not just, this isn't like they're not looking for a kill there. They just wanted to poke out Stealth, and Feather Step avoids a lot of damage, but Skeeledon in a little bit of trouble, and look at that.
Yeah, really good force of the purification. The damage coming out from the power pot as well from Omega. If that would have connected, he didn't use purification on that. That was confirmed death pretty much, because Adoro could have, sorry, not Adoro, Stealth could have easily followed up with damage.
Yes, and that's what's going to be most dangerous here for Randozos, is not recognizing the damage coming out of Hercules, because you don't play against this, right? Even in the soul lane, you almost never see it anymore in the meta, and for it to come out in the jungle against Skeeledon, he's like, I haven't seen a jungle Hercules for 2 years, right? That's what he's thinking.
I mean, if you play ranked, Addin still loves running it. He's been talking about it forever. Is Kiki in trouble again? Has to lacerate away, but that's left Eonic a little bit isolated here on the Athena.
Those
Luckily
archers.
enough, the minions.
Those archers doing so much work against Meerkat. Unfortunately, Leftsyndrome, I don't think, tagged Kiki first, which means the first damage came out from Meerkat. He got hit by a ton of archer damage, and what looked like a big advantage from him quickly turned.
And here's the issue with the Wrath from Omega. I'm not sure why he went for it. I guess he wants some control.
I'm assuming he's going to invade, right?
He's
If he's
gonna
not
have to.
invading, he's wasting a relic.
Because he could have looked for Blink or Meditation or Curse, all three of those things. Very effective. Is Eonic doing what he can to help create some lane pressure for Kiki here.
And he's actually looking for the taunt onto Meerkat. Gonna hold it, though. That's just presence where he's like trying to bait out Meerkat to dash away and waste that cooldown in mana.
Well, in the jungle, you could actually see once again Whalrus trying to pressure CycloneSpin by stealing away the ball, but the rotation comes out from EnVy to save that one. Skeeledon, however, is over in the duo lane here, looking to put pressure on Kiki. Out of potions here completely.
This is going to be important. He's not 5 yet, but he will hit 5 off these minions, and
want
now
Eonic.
Eonic's as good as dead here. There's no way he's getting out.
Eonic has been charging in time and time again, looking to clear the wave and help Kiki out. And by doing that, sets himself up for an easy first pick for the side.
And Aduro ults over as well, just in case the gank doesn't go the way they want in the 3v1 or the 3v2 there. He'll be there to help out. And now the board's going to be invaded. Nothing that Kiki can do but watch this happen.
Take the balls down as well, so Kiki going to be behind in this lane. And obviously, Eonic dying for that first blood. But unfortunate for him, and pressure in mid lane from EnVy does come out, though. They may get caught in this rotation for the jungle they've chosen, though.
EnVy are in a very awkward spot. You can see Omega recognize it. He's going to dash away, and a good slow coming out from Stealth. Not knocked up, quickly 180s and turns around, but Leftsyndrome I thought he was going to look for the knock up into the pool.
Don't think they were going to be able to find that there, but it did work out well for them once again. Envy with the ones, bit of an awkward position. Their buffs have respawned in the jungle for both teams, though, so keep an eye on what Omega chooses to do. As Eonic gets plucked in mid lane, only level 4 right now, but there's no real follow-up. Supernova used there by Stealth as well, as now the ultimate from Xbalanque comes into play here. Eonic gets pulled into an awkward spot, hit by their Feather Step as well, but he will escape for now.
He just got saved by Omega right there. Great stun, keeping Skeeledon against the wall. I really love that fight coming out from both teams. First off, Randozos, all they're trying to do is bait whatever they can. They get Supernova, and immediately Envy look like they're in a position to follow up, but quickly the ult comes out for Meerkat, and you can see Omega was kind of just stuck there. He couldn't find the kill. CycloneSpin might be in trouble here.
It was close, but it wasn't close enough, and now it's going to be Whalrus in trouble because he just used Eagle's Rally to escape. With the Athena there too, he's not going to have Purification to escape this gank. He needs a rotation stat if there's one to come, otherwise he will fall down. Instead, the team are doing the Gold Fury, or they were looking at it instead. They changed their mind, and, well, price is paid.
Something really funny there is I think Randozos thought that Whalrus was going to die much faster than that. You could see the whole team, they were in mid lane. They very easily could have rotated over. They had the Janus ult, but instead they go to the Gold Fury looking for the option.
It looks like they were going for gold at first. I was like, okay, this is a good call, but then they went to the red instead.
I think it was just, they thought, all right, Whalrus, you tried to go for the solo kill. It didn't work out. Nice try. You're going to die. I think if they knew he would have lived that long, they would have rotated in because that was a lot of abilities and cooldowns down for Envy. They even had to burn Herc Boulder in a 3v1.
Well, they did take Hercules. Actually, they did give the kill to Hercules as well. Omega getting that one does help him out in the jungle a little bit. Stat count for the Wrath, by the way, boys and girls, it has been used twice so far.
Just twice? It was used on the first, three times. Three times.
Was it the third one?
He got the boar on the right side.
I got the boar. Okay, 3.
But we haven't seen any invade coming out from him. And Skeeledon got first blood, so he's going to recoup any like advantage Omega would have from the bonus clear.
Is it for Fire Jet control as well, I guess? I mean, it's 1,000 true damage to it, which isn't an execute to an extent.
Oh, Omega going to be plucked out of position here. Pulled once again by Awilix, knocked up, Feather Step. Beautiful.
He couldn't do anything.
Beautiful.
He couldn't do a single thing.
Like, you could... Randozos could not have played that any better. And that's going to be something here too. Omega, right? Obviously, he's not going to go Purification or he doesn't want to, but no meditation, no shell, no sprint, no kind of team fighting relic to help him out in these awkward spots early in the game.
And gets picked off like that, and it just goes the way again of Randozos. Another kill for Skeeledon, which would just accelerate his build even more. Whalrus going to pressure Cyclone to allow Skeeledon to pick up those imps in the jungle there. Cyclone going to head back to lane once more.
Soul Laners here fighting it off, and despite Whalrus' death, still has a slight gold lead over CycloneSpin. Pretty negligible, though, less than 100 right now.
Oh, but gold coming from Eonic here to the right side, looking for Whalrus, who's used the Eagles Rally again. Taunt comes out, and this is Whalrus trying to fight too much against Cyclone.
This is once again like these players who are, I don't want to say confident or cocky, but they don't really pay attention to team compositions. The first time you die to the Athena ult, you're like, okay, I messed up. I tried to make a play. It didn't work out. Once again, he ults over, not recognizing that Eonic has ultimate, and it's just a free kill for CycloneSpin. And all he has to do realistically is stay even in this lane, but he now is going to start to get behind.
Well, what he's looking to do is he's trying to Eagles Rally and burst Cyclone down before Big Baby comes out. Because as soon as Big Baby's out, it's like, well, it's washed now.
But I mean, CycloneSpin was very healthy when we saw it. The first time, I think it was fine, right?
Yeah,
obviously, he was very low, it was very close. But that second time right there was awkward. And even in game 1, he actually ults a Sobek who just dashes away.
Especially when the Big Baby these days, Vamana has one of the highest movement speeds in the game as well. You can easily chase people down
380.
when boots on.
It is. Him and Chiron have the 2 highest move speeds in the game.
Well, Chiron makes sense because he's got 4 legs,
yeah,
right?
and he's a baby, so he runs fast.
He's low to the ground, right?
It's aerodynamic, right?
Yeah.
Look at his head. Can we go over Vamana real quick? Let's look at his head, right? Just the aerodynamics on this head are so useful. And he has pretty smooth skin as well, right? You think like the plump legs would be going slower, but it's the way.
Stop.
2-2.
You killed it. You killed it about an hour ago.
2-2.
We've only been in the game 7 minutes.
Randozos up 500 gold. Grouping in the mid lane here.
500 gold, but I think the big key here is the combination of the Janus, the Sobek, and the Awilix is just going to put so much pressure on the Omega every single time. And Eonic, to be fair, either one of those could easily be picked.
I really want to see what Envy's game plan is, right? So they pick the Hercules in the jungle, and they don't pick a hard carry onto CycloneSpin, right? If this was an Ao Kuang, it's like, okay, just pretend these roles are reversed, and the players are playing something more comfortable to them. But they put CycloneSpin on the worst.
Invade in the jungle here onto Stealth, who gets pulled into an awkward position. Disapparate is used, but that's going to wear off relatively soon before he gets really deep. The unstable Vortex and the damage coming out from Leftsyndrome will be enough. Leftsyndrome in trouble, though. No real chance of escape. Petrify comes out, and an Earthbreaker. Driving Strike confirms the kill. Support for a mid laner.
And that's completely worth right now for Randozos. They're very happy with this. Meerkat as well. Not going to be able to find a kill, but forcing out Eonic's ult at the very least. There was so many ults burned by Envy. Meerkat in a little bit of trouble here. Eonic will find the taunt. Kiki can't follow up, though. Purification burned.
But it's also, you did
look at that. CycloneSpin.
Oh. Looking for a pick in the jungle with the rotation here as well. Adora will get away with the Janus for now. But on the left-hand side as well, you saw Kiki lost some minions to the tower for that rotation where Meerkat pushed a wave into the tower before it and came out on top. Goal for though, started by Envy. They do have a Wrath here. So once it gets to 1,000, they will be able to execute it.
I don't even think Skeeledon should even be looking at this at this point. He doesn't really have any way to confirm it. Really nicely played coming out from Envy, and that Wrath finally, I think, showing its worth right there. No teleport on Whalrus as well, so that was very nicely played by CycloneSpin. Recognizing that was down, he doesn't even want to burn his own. He just kind of walks in, forces Stealth out, they get the Gold Fury, or excuse me, forces the Duro out, they get the Gold Fury, and he can teleport back in without losing his tower.
And that brings the gold even. Let's check on the experience as well, just to see if there's a difference. It is in Envy's favor at the moment. Gold completely even, though.
Probably a little bit from that Wrath. Omega able to farm a little bit more efficiently. Even though Skeeledon got first blood, it wasn't a ton of experience. He split it 3 ways. You can even see is about a level behind, and he's the only one I'm seeing here.
It's a level on him and a level on Cyclone as well over Whalrus.
2, actually.
It's around a level, I'd say, once he gets the next minion wave coming out. Because realistically, I think that's down to Whalrus dying twice. Look for the aggression that he's lost some experience in that lane.
And now, honestly, because he's died twice, that's one of those things where it allowed CycloneSpin to have that teleport up where potentially, right, who knows how the lane would have gone, but Whalrus might have had his TP up there, and maybe Randozos could have forced a fight. He's also down the Breastplate of Valor right now, although okay in gold, right? Only down 300, not the worst.
Charge Parade just off the mark from Syndrome there, but the taunt from Eonic is good onto 2 members. There's no follow-up, unfortunately, from the team of Envy, as they'd already used most of their abilities.
I'm really starting to like Leftsyndrome. He's been playing so well for being new to the SPL and coming in on this
Charge
team
Spray again, hitting Eonic. Eonic knocked up in the air. Supernova comes out to defend. He goes rally from Whalrus over the top, looking for Eonic, who has no real escape here. Looking at the waters confirmed with Whalrus with the Scourge, and Cyclone has to bravely baby away.
And Skeeledon holds his ult there as well. I'm really surprised just having the presence of 9 to recognize that Eonic is probably going to fall here anyway. He's wasted all his abilities. Why waste Gravity Surge on this? Maybe I can find a follow-up kill. Obviously, they didn't, but they got a ton of pressure. And you can even see, looking for a setup here in the mid lane, all Leftsyndrome has to do is knock 1 person up.
Yeah, Meerkat still pressuring Kiki at the same time. Meerkat was involved in all those kills over that side as well. Don't forget, he used the Darkest of the Nights, which influenced that fight again. Stealth trying to return some poke damage onto Syndrome here, but Syndrome going to dash away. You've got Athena coming in again with Eonic dashing in here as well, looking for somebody. But Randozos are so aware of what's going on, they're just all out of the danger zone.
Really good job from them as a whole to make sure to disengage without kind of getting in a rough spot here. Skeeledon spotted out, but he does have a ward, so he's going to recognize it, quickly dashes away. No, actually, Eonic managed to catch him here. We'll have to see if Envy has the follow-up damage.
But Kiki just lost a whole wave of experience. He's being soloed by Meerkat in the jungle. Oh, maybe not. Kiki turns the damage back round low on mana, however. Bowler does proc.
Meerkat has to be aggressive. He's going to get pinched by Eonic. He has to try and make a move now if he's going to make it. And it looks like he just wants that extra farm.
Go down to tower, buddy. This is what he's going to do. He knows he's got him coming in behind as well. Trying to fall down, doesn't get the last hit there, Eonic, so it's just an assist for him. But now the boys of Randozos turn up again.
Was the assist only over to him as well? I think, did Kiki
just
get an assist? It looks like I'm not sure when he got that. I'm assuming he just got the assist.
I think he may have just got the assist. Yeah, okay. You're right.
So that's not, that's still pretty good though. Doesn't die, so no kill or gold bounty over.
CycloneSpin, though, rotating over to the right-hand side, will take the blue buff away from Whalrus there and just deny that one, using the advantage of Doro.
Oh, Whalrus actually going to try and find him there deep in the jungle. He's actually ulted forward. CycloneSpin, bludgeon damage, not going to be enough, and he should walk out here.
Janus. Unstable Vortex is enough, Adoro picks it up.
And finally, Whalrus' aggression pays off. He actually teleports into that. You can see, he teleported into that sentry ward at mid-camps because he knew his blue was getting stolen. Really great awareness coming out from him because he had no vision of that.
Well,
he just knew CycloneSpin was there.
Both those solo lanes, when they've played overly aggressive, have been punished this game. That's the big thing more than anything else. I mean, we saw Whalrus do it twice, and then Cyclone go to the blue in his own. TP.
I mean, I think that was pretty
Punish.
safe for CycloneSpin. He really didn't expect to be TP'd underneath, and as he rotated kind of out of the blue buff, he's like, oh, you're here?
Well, I'm in trouble now. Stealth a little bit. Push forward here. Going to meet Leftsyndrome. Leftsyndrome doesn't really look at the charge prey just now, so Stealth gets a nice little bit of free poke off on him.
I mean, the ethereal form was already activated, so it was kind of like, I could pluck you out of position, you'll take a little bit of poke, but it may not be worth.
And now he's just retreating back, just scared of the charge prey. You've been talking about Syndrome a lot here, but he has been having a very good game.
He's just been really consistent, right? There's a lot of times you'll see players come in and just have really bad game, get picked off from rotations, and he's quietly had a very strong showing in his first week of the SPL.
Well, 2 against Whalrus over here. Going to be 3 against Whalrus. There is a rotation now coming out, however, from Randozos in support. There's a 3 space in time, which does connect with Omega. Not as much damage as you see in the late game, but a great driving strike, and Boulder comes out from Omega to help out Eonic. The damage was good, but the turnaround is still here for Randozos to pressure.
And no magical protection for Omega, taking a lot from that Sobek. Leftsyndrome picks him up, and now trying to set up for the rest of his team. Whalrus on the escape, but CycloneSpin trying to find the kill. There's the taunt back in. Stealth finds him, but still a 3v3. Aduro over the wall, runs straight into CycloneSpin.
Messy fight between the two teams, but Skeeledon and Syndrome looking for Eonic here. Big Baby coming round from Cyclone to put the pressure back on. Force Skeeledon away, but he's going to give chase with the Umbrella. But is it as fast as Suku?
Oh,
no,
slow.
the Umbrella Rang will come out, but a great pluck from Syndrome will deny it. And obviously,
I'm telling you, Syndrome right now is playing at another level.
Oh,
Meerkat, very deep on the rotation, tries to find the last couple autos, close, but not enough.
And I think that was him versus Kiki on the whole rotation over there. Kiki just had his number where Meerkat was going and kept poking him, I guess, as that.
That's what it looks like.
developed.
I think Meerkat tried to make his way over and be the first in the fight, but pinched out there by himself. And that might be Meerkat feeling himself a little bit. That's twice now that we've seen him kind of try and abuse Kiki.
So who won that fight?
I don't know.
That was just a lot of fighting,
That's probably
right?
even.
The
No
buff
one
stayed
stole
up.
a buff. You can see, right? It's kind of like an up, down, up, down. It looks like a little bit towards Randozos.
You guess?
That's a wash.
Yeah,
That's honestly a wash.
I didn't feel like there was anything else, but Gold Fury is a contestation point right now, and Omega's there, clearing out wards with the Wrath available to him. Did go for Purification, however, to go alongside this, so he is afraid of those knock-up pulls that were coming out in the early game where he got full womboed. Talk about that, a pull onto Stealth, does connect.
Skeeledon burns his ult.
Already.
Was he in Disapparate in the air?
I'm not sure.
Gold Fury, it's going to be started though. Leftsyndrome trying to steal, lurking in the water,
This
not
against
doing enough
Wrath.
damage. There's still the Wrath, and it really looks like Randozos are just looking for the fight at this point.
Randozos get the Gold Fury over the Wrath. What is this? Boulder comes out from Omega in anger as he falls. Big Baby online. Gonna punch onto Syndrome. Stealth flip back into an awkward spot, but Disapparate saves the day. Now they're gonna look for Leftsyndrome with the damage onto him. Whalrus forced out too. Adoro in a pit, trying to create a distraction to portal away. Meerkat, Sanctuary's early. Feather step from Skeeledon, but Stealth picks up one. Kiki gets another one.
3 for 1. Randozos get the Gold Fury, however. And now, honestly, Envy, I would say this is a pretty even wash here unless Envy can get anything else. You can see CycloneSpin trying to look for a red buff to steal. It's already been completed. Aduro's going to go to safety, and now Envy, they're grouping up, looking for this tower in mid lane.
Whalrus, however, did teleport straight in to help defend this one, so they shouldn't be able to get this if they're lucky. There's not many minions, so they can keep disarming them. They can hold this off. Petrify comes out, though, after the taunt and forces Aduro back. Whalrus takes a lot of poke, and Cyclone's around the back.
There
He's
he
going to
is.
look for the Umbrella. Pulled from Aduro, already down. Aduro will fall. Cyclone, the Umbrella on point, and now he's going to collect his prize of a blue buff.
CycloneSpin playing really good on this Vamana right now. Despite his one death, his rotations have been on point and just circling around, finding Aduro once again. And Aduro trying to farm as much as he can there, pays the price. Still even with stealth, but probably not a death he wanted to have.
Transcendent Solo is becoming such a popular item for Warriors just lately. They've gone away from full defense like we used to see, and now they've gone from one defensive item and then look for some damage somewhere.
I think it's because of their massive kind of experience lead. They don't really need to worry about having the item lead so much, right? They don't need to worry about all these tanky items just because their base protections and health scaling allows them to be tanky frontliners. CycloneSpin also, he has his ultimate very safe, and now he's just trying to do more damage, and we saw how much he did there to just Aduro.
And in fairness, Vamana's abilities are nothing to like
really high scaling.
Underappreciate in terms of the damage scaling.
And I think he just received a couple hits to them, but still, those haven't been into effect just yet.
That's next mid lane again. Eonic under pressure. Actually, Zadoro more has to portal away to safety. Syndrome. Charge prey on the defensive option here. Envy is starting to slowly wrestle control of this game, and I think that's just down to their front line being so tanky.
It's CycloneSpin at this point, doing so much work in these fights, and
Well,
Randozos going
Shell,
very deep.
Meditation, and then you've got a Hercules, a Vamana, and an Athena to get through.
And then
when they've got Shell and Meditation
and then stealth as well on this Soul, very hard to lock down. Probably one of the most safe mages in the game. You have a built-in sanctuary in your kit.
And it's like you pop your 3 and you hope for the best. In worst case scenario, you lose half your health, but you'll still be alive by the time you get out of it.
And CycloneSpin here, or excuse me, Kiki, is still down about 500 gold despite Meerkat
Tornado
having a couple
Doro
deaths.
stops him going through the portal. The Petrify connects and Stealth eliminates Adoro with that. Not enough time for Syndrome to get there and defend. And Envy turn their attention to the left-hand side.
And Adoro there not having the reaction time to quickly turn around and ult. And he's been the one kind of been focused down for the most part here. Whalrus has 3 deaths. 2 of them were solos. And in team fights, it's all focus Adoro.
Well, 2 members against 4 now because Skeeledon's going to the right-hand side of the map now. So Leftsyndrome going to get hit by the driving strike, tail whip, charge prey away. But this still allows Envy to create the room for the tier 1 is what they were looking for.
And Omega, I think, much more comfortable on this Hercules. Looking at the damage, still down there with Eonic, but he's just allowed to kind of get away with
at least he's above the support,
set up for his team. He's set up more for his team on Hercules than he ever did with Thor in that entire game.
It's just comfortability on Warriors more than anything else. That's what it seems to be.
I mean, he's been a soul laner for 2.5 years, 3 years, right? It's not easy to transition after you've kind of had this same mentality.
He said himself the hardest role for him to transition to would be jungle. And then what does he do?
He goes jungle.
Goes jungle. Give it a go. If he makes Worlds this year, I'll be like, wow, this guy. He's
still got fall split, right? I don't think spring split's looking too hot for Envy right now with how competitive the rest of North America is. But
yeah, it's very
maybe
tight.
they can make a run. It's still possible, but they need to fix a lot of issues in the next couple days.
The surprising thing is, while all that's been said and done, the gold lead is actually still even between these two teams. It's about 100 gold difference as Whalrus may have to be careful here as he may get run down by Stealth with the support of Cyclone.
You can see Stealth just trying to space himself, not exactly sure where the rest of the team is. And actually, here comes the rotation. Aduro caught out once again.
Big team fight coming out with the Darkies and Night Shoes as well. However, Cyclone is actually slowly chipping away at Whalrus, who uses the port. Boulder comes out from Omega, looking to try and execute, but Skeeledon very wisely uses Suku to jump away over the wall.
They're fine. Boulder for Darkest of Nights. That's probably a win overall. Meerkat now going to put pressure on Kiki. He's been winning this 1v1 most of the game there. Kiki has just been under tower trying to farm.
I actually disagree with that. I think actually Kiki's the one that's been winning that overall. Maybe in terms of gold, no, but in terms of the 1v1s, it's going to be better as Eonic takes out Adoro there as well. Pull under the tower is Eonic now by Skeeledon. Feather Step comes out, but the shell will reduce some of that damage. Leftsyndrome can't find it with the Sobek either. So once again, a 1-for-0.
Envy going to disengage really clean from them, and Enduro, he's been putting himself into some awkward spots most of this game. Really out of position, has his purification burned at the start of fights, and typically Envy kind of waits and then re-engages him.
A little bit overextended. Cyclone's now teleported around their back, and now with Athena coming in, he realizes he's going to turn his attention to Kiki, look for the kill before they turn up and look for the pick on him in response. Won't be enough for the kill, though. I like the call. He had no real other option.
Can't even burn his purification in time, right? And that's one thing, right? He could have looked to use his purification, maybe immune the knockup and try and kill Kiki there, but it's not 100%, and I think he would rather have had the cooldown.
And now that gives a Golf Fury opportunity for Envy, knowing that Meerkat's off the map for another 30 seconds. The whole team's starting to head this way. Cyclone using that teleport to get over here already. Will definitely want to try and make it even more worthwhile for themselves. And Eonic all on cooldown too, but Whalrus and Syndrome are here already for Randozos. And don't forget, they have a Janus.
They're going to try and
they stole the last one
this.
too.
Wrath is available here, and there comes the Janus. The snipe going to connect, but not enough damage to finish off the Gold Fury. Unstable Vortex off the mark as well. And there's Whalrus over the top. Omega takes out Leftsyndrome in the meantime.
Randozos get the Gold Fury again as Omega was looking for more damage. No, Wrath was actually did go off, but it wasn't enough for the kill. And now they're looking for the pick in the jungle to turn this around. Earthbreaker driving strike onto Whalrus as Cyclone does pick up a Doro. Whalrus trying to do what he can, but Supernova will cause him an issue. And there's the Stellar Burst to secure it for Stealth. Stealth now on a killing spree.
Honestly, this late into the game, that's definitely a win for Envy. Even though they lost the Gold Fury, they baited so many members of Randozos into trying and stop it that they got the steal, but they're losing so many members, and CycloneSpin here, he's going to live, but this has allowed Envy to get both towers on the left-hand side.
Tier 1 and Tier 2 fall as well. Let's go to the graphs and see how that impacts things, because you'll see that the Gold Fury is in favor of Envy now, even though it was still even after the Gold Fury attempt.
And that's just a ton of experience as well. You can see, despite the gold, that got quickly dropped. It was, once again, shot up 2K in favor of Envy, and then right after that, the experience. The gains are still happening. Whalrus only level 18. CycloneSpin's been 20 for like 5 minutes at this point.
You can see the build coming out here. Stealth does get hit by that, though, so he could actually die here. Nobody's around. Disapparate on cooldown. No supernova available. Going to get knocked up. Forces purification. Athena actually was consumed there as well by Eonic, and he still ends up getting picked up for the kill.
I'm really surprised he burned his purification. There was no way he was getting out of there. Even if the Athena ult comes... Actually, there was no point, right? Even Athena ult being burned there. He was at 15% health and surrounded by 3 people.
Randozos could look for a fire giant, knowing Stealth's down here, but no, they're going to clear up the wards, look for a potential pick on Omega, who driving strikes away from the charge play, but his teammate Eonic is the one in trouble. Knocked up double time and flipped around, but he's still going to survive, and Cyclone shows his face around that corner, and Randozos realize they can't do anymore.
Eonic's so tanky there. Not only has the Spirit Robe proc, so he's got reduced damage, but also the shell coming out. And it was just so hard. There was so much invested into him, but at this point, with that massive amount of damage reduction, it was all for naught.
Well, at the moment, it just means Envy's going to stall out for now. They're just going to farm up and wait for their teammate to respawn in Stealth, who's available in a few more seconds with a Sentry Ward in tow for himself, working towards that Rod of Tahuti after Book of Toth and Obsidian Shard as well.
Omega here. 3, 3, and 4. A lot more comfortable on the Warriors. And he's gone a pretty Soul Lane-esque build there. He went straight into Breastplate of Valor. After that, he's gone into Mantle of Discord, so just trying to be this frontline brute that's taking a lot of the damage for his team. You can still see him sitting on the bottom there, 3,000 below Leftsyndrome, but he's really just been the setup man.
And he goes for Mantle of Discord as well, and then looks for
Wingblade.
Wingblade.
There's a ton of slows onto Randozos, so doesn't want to risk it. And actually, there comes Curse out.
Curse does come out, actually coming from Whalrus there, but here's the fight with Meerkat popping his ultimate, Cyclone and Eonic trying to combine to pick up Whalrus, Meerkat, who's very low on mana, forces purification, but the fight's still raging. Nobody really dying just yet.
CycloneSpin resetting for now. Stealth going to go into the Corporeal form as Leftsyndrome is lurking in the waters. Doesn't connect onto anyone. And look at this. Eonic, he's charged. He's looking for the taunt. He wants Randozos to group up. He has no way to stop it or close the gap as fast as he wants, though.
A little bit awkward here for Randozos too. Skeeledon lower mana, Meerkat out of mana, and Envy recognizing this, going to force the pressure on this tier 2 tower. Fight still going on, and good driving strike from Omega is going to bring Leftsyndrome out of position here, but all Leftsyndrome's trying to do is block as much as he can, and Stealth ends up having to force his Sanctuary after getting pulled in by Skeeledon with the last of his mana. Tier 2 tower falls, and Whalrus is back with the Eagles Rally off the mark for the stun, but he will be able to disengage.
And I think a lot of this game right now, Envy has full control, right? They have a massive experience lead, as well as about 3,000 gold. 3,000 gold, not that much, but it really feels like Randozos had started playing a lot more cocky in the second game as opposed to game 1, right? Meerkat sitting at the edge of Kiki's tower for the second game in a row, once again has a gold lead, but gets caught on rotation so often. And even when he died to CycloneSpin's teleport, he was fighting Kiki under tower for like 3 minutes and doesn't recognize that Envy had all backed off that right lane fight like a minute before.
This seems to be a war of attrition this game too, because of the frontline composition more than anything. Stealth is very difficult to pick. Kiki's so far back that getting to him, you've got to walk through a mountain of people, and those mountain of people, they're just so tanky.
And Eonic with the shell as well as the Spirit's Robe, you saw Randozos try and pick him off, but he's done, honestly, Eonic's done a brilliant job of farming. He's level 17 right now as a support. He's actually higher than most members of Randozos outside of their 2 side lane carries, and just that massive amount of bonus health you get as Athena, right? 100 per level. There's very few supports that can match that, and it's just that much harder to kill.
It looks like Mantle of Discord will be in his next item too, so that'll be 2 on the side of Envy as well, which is very, very difficult to try and deal with, especially when you've got quite a few who want to be close range. Sobek's going to be up in your face, Skeeledon on that Awilix, and Whalrus all going to be so close that they will get hit by that stun if it creates it, and that can turn a fight immediately, or at least help you survive longer.
And I like what CycloneSpin's done as well. He's gone into the Transcendence, but then just a ton of physical protection. He's got Breastplate for cooldown reduction. He's got Midgardian Mail, very good against Meerkat, Whalrus, and Skeeledon, who are going to want to get off some form of auto attacks. Leftsyndrome as well. Sometimes he'll throw out some auto attacks, although not really big. And then Urchin as well, so giving him bonus health, more physical protection, and a little bit of magical just to deal with the Duro, but Aduro is so far behind at this point that he doesn't have to worry about magical damage in the slightest.
Stealth looking a lot more confident on this Soul in the mid lane than we saw out of his Janus a little bit earlier on. Having a very good game for himself. It's 17,000 player damage, top of the charts this time around.
I want to see what last item from CycloneSpin is going to be, and it's going to be Titan's Bane, so a little bit more damage. CycloneSpin kind of feels like he's at that point where he's tanky enough, and Randozos, they don't have the items online to really shred through how how tanky he is.
This could be a weird fight now around the Gold Fury. Both teams want to contest this one, try and find a pick if they can, force the situation onto him. Cyclone will turn up to the fight a little bit late, but at the moment it's just a stance more than anything else between the two.
And it looks like Envy, they're going to try and bait it. None of them are actually in the range of the Gold Fury, so they're throwing out auto attacks. This is actually just going to keep Stealth's heat up, which is very important for the bonus damage.
On Meerkat, that's what they were after. Did manage to poke him a little bit, but meanwhile on the backside, Syndrome comes in and takes a lot of poke, has to tail whip himself away. The crit did connect there, so Leftsyndrome below half. Whalrus trying to create his own, but he's getting bursted too. The front line of Envy is holding strong, and they're pushing back Randozos.
Taunt coming out and actually going to find two. There's Darkest Night, though, going to stop Envy in their tracks, and now the team split. Omega does find a pluck onto Meerkat. There's the Sanctuary for now. Skeeledon and Aduro around the corner, but Meerkat nowhere to go. No, he finds a portal and runs straight into Cyclone.
Was waiting round the corner. Now Envy continue pushing forward. Four
Double
members
sprint.
together. Cyclone off to the side, finding solo kills whenever he can on people who are trying to escape
That's
this engagement.
brutal.
A good fight from Envy.
If I'm Meerkat, I'm so happy. I can't believe this portal is here, and then just right in his face.
But Aduro
It's
used that portal for
CycloneSpin to
himself to get away from CycloneSpin. And then they traded. He should have been. To be fair, he was dead either way. Meerkat
he was
dead either way.
gone.
It was like a portal.
Yeah, no, that's just like that savage thing where it's like, freedom! Just kidding. You're done.
Goldfield goes the way of Envy once again. Let's check in with the graphs now because this is a better game out of them. The problem I see for Envy going forward is that if they're going to use Warriors jungle, that's cool. But it's a gimmick, right? You're going to end up having this turned on you at some point where they realize you're going to want Warriors jungle, so let's do something that can either invade this Warrior early, exploit the fact you've got a Warrior in the jungle here. There's going to have to be an adaptation at one point.
And Randozos were actually very competitive with them for the first, I'd say, 15 minutes of the match. They were even able to steal away a Gold Fury against Omega's Wrath, right? And I'd say at this point, right, this Wrath really hasn't been worth its investment, considering having a teamfight active might be a little bit better now at this point in the game, and I don't think they were able to get like a massive lead off of anything.
I don't think the Wrath's really worked out. Like, they've lost 2 Gold Furies when they've had the Wrath as well.
Now,
So,
I will say, honestly, that 2 of those Gold Furies, they kind of won. The ones that were stolen away from them because they got 3 kills and were able to follow up with the tower stolen buffs.
That's
but
true.
I really wouldn't say that, like, that was Wrath, right? That was just Randozos getting baited into the Gold Fury pit and dying. And
well, Whalrus got
fight.
baited a little bit there, and he's going to take a lot of damage there. Half health already. Randozos trying to swing around to support him, which creates an opportunity for him to go back to base. Does have teleport though, Whalrus, so can rejoin this fight at any moment if he needs to. So now Syndrome gets poked again.
Oh,
They're
Eonic.
looking for more.
He wants Aduro there, but Aduro able to space himself well enough. Omega just trying to close the
That was
gap,
nice.
and there's the knock-up.
Get him away from the wall, forces Sanctuary as well. Constant knock-ups, and
Poor
Aduro will
Aduro.
fall down before he can get to that wall with his portal.
That was absolutely brutal. Once again, like this is savage Envy, right? Like body block Aduro, knock him up constantly. Meerkat gets a saving portal, runs straight into CycloneSpin. Meerkat trying to 1v1 Kiki. CycloneSpin teleports
Look at
behind
Omega's
him.
understanding of Hercules, though. Driving strikes to Earthbreaker to make sure he can get him away from the wall. When we saw his Thor earlier on, it was a different story. He tries hammering for damage and not using it for escape or disengage.
And it gets turned on quickly.
Now
It really seems like this may be the key to Envy, is just put Omega on gods he's comfortable
we
with
expected
for now.
that, but Firejan under contention with the Meerkat ultimate coming out from Darkest of Nights. Leftsyndrome hovering, Meerkat forced the Rising Jaguar away, and Whalrus and Leftsyndrome are the ones in an awkward position. Purification forced, but that gave away Skeeledon's position there as Eagles rally from Whalrus on the mark onto Stealth, but he's on his own at the moment, and he's going to get peeled off by Omega once again. The peel from the front line is just so good.
The problem is Randozos, they're really split up in this fight, right? Skeeledon's trying to make a play off onto the side. Whalrus ults 4, but Meerkat's near blue buff. He can't get auto attacks off. Leftsyndrome, like, as the support, he's like running around in a circle trying to figure out, does he need to set up for someone? Does he need to peel for someone? And right now, Envy, they're just finding these picks one at a time. Right now, they've already taken out 3 members. Leftsyndrome and Aduro, the only 2 left alive, and Fire Giant's got to be started again.
And you can't ignore a Vamana, a Hercules, and an Athena and try and get to the back line.
No.
It's just impossible.
It's
if you
not
do,
easy.
they're just going to stop you every single time, and that's what's been going on.
And Gold or Fire Giant here, going to be uncontested outside of the
It's
Janus,
turn.
but it's going to be a little bit too early there. No vision coming out for
It's
Randozos,
rough
and now
on time.
Envy. They're looking good to finally break their 8-game losing streak.
8-game losing streak, but it's against Randozos after already losing one to them. A bit of an upset, honestly, that one.
That was that wasn't even a bit. That was a
Well,
massive upset.
Randozos beating LG. Maybe they're just the best at upsetting.
Baby.
Randozos can only upset teams.
To be fair, Randozos beat the 2 teams probably struggling the most, right? When it comes to like expectancy to performance, like you were looking at like the top 4 or 5 teams in North America, and you're like, all right, Soar, expected to do well. Enemy, right, by now we have to respect them to do well. Luminosity and Envy, these were also squads that you expected to do well, that you expect to not only have a winning record, but be contending for DreamHack, and neither of them were really in those positions.
Well, for 13 minutes in with the Fire Giant in tow, now they can just head back to base, spend up, which they've just done, and start to siege down the final 3 Phoenixes that Randozos have available to them. I expect them to head left-hand side, and that's where Cyclone already is.
And Stealth just finishing Soul Reaver, that's going to be devastating to Whalrus, who is already kind of getting shredded. It's going to be really hard for him to frontline like he's been, and Envy have done a really good job of focusing down individual members, right? It's like, all right, Aduro's out of position, let's get him. Meerkat's out of position, let's get him. And those have been really the 2 key targets for EnVyUs all game.
Eonic not scared to have a little bit of a bashing match with Whalrus there, and realistically, Eonic doesn't look like he's actually being hurt there. I'll be honest.
He has no fear right now.
I think Whalrus is losing the
It's block
trade.
stacks versus block stacks, and honestly, he's just baited Whalrus into like getting himself out of position.
No taunt available just yet, another 3 seconds, but he will be up for the siege as he charges up, ready again, looking for one of the targets, and this is the strength of Athena on a fence again. There we go, 2 men. Immediately, Purification Years to Meerkat, forces Sanctuary away from the Supernova, but the Boulder going to almost follow him in for the kill. Syndrome will create a zone, but Envy will just wait for one more rotation of Athena taunts.
He does a little bit of poke damage, but the meditation comes through. The heal from Omega as well is going to be good, and here he comes again. Oh, Eonic with the 3-man taunt.
But you're going to get pressured heavily and takes a lot of poke damage there. Eagles Rally follows it up. Phoenix did a lot to Eonic, forcing his shell as well. Omega now takes front line duties for his team as
This is good for Randozos.
He's creating a zone as well. Randozos are holding here, and they're actually chasing down Envy right now.
Do they have sprint? It doesn't look like they have sprint. Whalrus going to be slowed as well. Aduro off to the side, and this is fine for Randozos, right? They forced off Envy. Envy commit most of their ultimates outside of CycloneSpins and Eonics, and because of that, they're able to hold their Phoenix and honestly reset the map. Now Envy, they're going to be backing, and they're going to have to wait another, 30, 40 seconds before they siege again, which is going to waste time on that FG.
Well, the Fire Giant will stay active for them now. Golf Fury is available if they wanted to take that way they waited, but they're not going that way at the moment. They're still sieging down mid lane. They're waiting just for everybody else to group back up, and if Randozos can, make that clean one more time, they'll be okay.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the Fire Giant. All they have to do is hold one more time. This time, though, all their ults are burned, and that's what's worrying.
And there's 3 ults still available on the side of Envy here. Hercules is already back up. You saw in that engagement, Cyclone has his for the big baby, and then, of course, Eonic can give some extra protections with his if he needs to go back to base and engage again.
Randozos really need their ultimates online soon, and you can start to see Skeeledon has his, Leftsyndrome has his, Aduro with that CDR should get his pretty soon as well, but it's not up. There it is, and now Randozos, they're going to be able to have a chance to hold.
Eonic looking for the taunt, but Syndrome creates a zone from anybody trying to follow him in, so Eonic getting bursted again. Boulder comes out from Omega as we follow Stealth, chunking away at Syndrome, who's in the ground on that Sobek. He will fall down. Phoenix now under pressure again as Cyclone created a zone with a big baby, enough for Envy to get what they came for in the Phoenix.
CycloneSpin and Eonic very low, but Randozos after losing Leftsyndrome, that was their entire front line outside of Whalrus, but there it is. So Omega caught out, but he'll be fine for now and trying to focus on this. Phoenix Stealth almost gets evaporated, and Whalrus cleans him up.
Through space and time connects, and now Omega trying to create his own for his team. Kiki under pressure, he falls too. Omega against the world right now as Eonic abandons him, has to get away. Cyclone across the other side of the map now. They're trying to run down Omega. Wingblade has already been activated, so that's now on cooldown as the knockups come through again. He driving strikes, but does fall. But look at this, 2 Phoenixes still went the way of Envy.
Despite the game that Aduro's had, which has not been good, that ult just turned the fight. Almost 100-0ing MLC Stealth, allowing Whalrus to clean up, and then he hits another Unstable Vortex onto Kiki. Kiki just gets evaporated right after that. Beautiful play and positioning coming out from him and the rest of the team of Randozos. Really good job at following up. CycloneSpin was poked out, and he actually went to steal away a buff before teleporting back in. And honestly, Envy paid because of it.
Well, talk about paying. Meerkat's in a lot of pressure here. Now, 3-man taunt does connect there from Eonic, but no further. They do defend the tier 2 turn. Realistically, I mean, that fight was great from Randozos, but it's for naught, right? They lost 2 Phoenixes anyway.
It's not the worst, though, because at the very least, Envy couldn't end right there, but this could be bad if Meerkat dies, and he does.
65
the team
seconds.
kind of backing off lazily.
65 seconds left through space and time. Fight does miss Cyclone. They're trying to beat him down still here. Shell
just extending
is
his
used by Eonic, keeping him in it as long as possible. Shell still up, and now Aduro falls. That's 2 kills for CycloneSpin. Looking for a third one. Disarm going to buy a second. Syndrome turns up 2, but there's a kill for Skeeledon, who does shut down CycloneSpin there. So it's a 2-for-1 trade over nothing.
This is honestly, oh no, Eonic trying to find the taunt
He's
here.
trying to stop him backing because look at the Titan right now. There's fire minions pouring down mid here.
Skeeledon should make it back in time. Eonic going to be charging once again. Sprints popped for Whalrus, but yeah, just wasting time at this point. Fire Giant has spawned, and it's going to be free. Really good job from Eonic there.
Eonic very aware of the situation, so Fire Giant going to go the way of Envy as well. And even though Randozos defended towards the end there, they still lost the objectives, which is all Envy really cared about.
And it's okay, though, for Randozos, right? It's not a death sentence. They didn't get all 3 Phoenixes as well. The team, they now know that they can fight. A lot of that is going to come from Enduro because most of Envy have stacked up physical protection instead of magical. You can see Omega has no magical protection, and all CycloneSpin has is the stacks from Heidi the Urchin, right?
Yep.
So if Enduro can stay alive in these fights, which hasn't been, you know, kind of the easiest for him, he's been getting focused out pretty heavily, he can get off a ton of bursts, and he's almost full build.
They need to give him that extra farm just now because he needs to get to that Soul Reaver. He needs 1350 to finish it. Can we just see gold in hand right now? I just want to see where Enduro is of getting that Soul Reaver online.
Nowhere close.
He needs another 1,000 gold right now. That would really impact it a little bit more if he can just connect one unstable or through space and time, and that will turn it.
With fire minions, so the team kind of as a whole needs to push this up. And I think Enduro right now, he's looking for as much farm as he can. He needs to be careful, though, because there are wards very deep in his jungle. He's on top of one right now. Envy, they've got one last Phoenix to siege, and they're starting to grow up on that left-hand side.
Fury. You can see that. They're not doing it. They recognize
They're full
Enduro's on
build.
the other side
They
of
don't
the map.
care.
They're just going to head straight towards this Phoenix. Omega and Eonic tanking this one up at the beginning of the game for them to begin with. Keep an eye on Enduro because that's the game changer now with the lack of magical protection on Envy. But is it enough? Well, he's going to get taunted. Forced to purification early. Unstable Vortex didn't do too much as the Phoenix does fall.
And Whalrus in the mid lane just trying to push up those fire minions, but I mean, this Phoenix is going to spawn, and immediately it's just Envy's more than likely going to blow it up here. Randozos, if they're going to fight, they need to do it now. They can't wait for the fire minions to start pouring in.
Omega just stood there. He doesn't care right now. He's like, okay, and I'm going to Earthbreaker Whalrus, and Whalrus gets pulled into the team with Driving Strike, loses half his health. Taunt comes out onto Meerkat. Boulder does connect as well.
That Boulder.
Triple tap from the Boulder of Omega, actually destroying Meerkat's health.
And that's an Omega play right there. Stand in the front, take poke. He doesn't care. The knockup comes from Skeeledon, but Skeeledon not wanting to risk pulling him in. Actually, might have been the right decision to pull him in. The whole team was there. A little bit dangerous, though, with the Driving Strike.
And now they got 5 minions in mid, 5 minions in the right-hand side. They're just waiting for them to just slowly move up. And
I
look
think
to close
Omega
this out.
forgot that he lost game 1.
I mean, he just didn't think about it. He's just playing Warriors. He don't class those games. If he's not playing Warrior, he doesn't class
There
his
it
games.
is. It's only Warriors that count.
Yeah, they only count his games. And now Omega going to Driving Strike Whalrus. He was trying to create his own for the team. But now Whalrus very, very low. Still has Eagle to rally, though. But Sprint has been
They're all
popped
inning.
by Envy. The Athena ult is coming down too. The Fire Minions piling in. CycloneSpin with the ultimate too. MLC Stealth got hit by that through space and time, which evaporated him. But it's still enough for Envy to at least make this a 1v1. Sorry, 1-for-1 against Randozos.
Finally, Envy break their 8-game losing streak there against the bottom team in the NA SPL, however. So we'll have to see if they can take some games off some higher tier teams coming up in the future. Hercules, though, the Warriors seem to work out for Omega much better than the Assassins.
Because it's Omega, I feel, is a big talking point, and he's going to be very careful with that one. But to me, let's go back to game 1 first of all. Skeeledon and the boys of Randozos put on a fantastic performance.
Skeeledon had his best set.
Yeah, best set from Skeeledon. Even in the second game when they were losing, he was still trying to make plays
Really
and make
good.
something happen. I guess the Warrior, though, was a bit of a difficult thing to do. But all the way back in game 1, Humbat's players were just on point. And this was like, after the very first kill, the turnaround was
This was really
immediate.
surprising. Okay, I thought
against the wall,
CycloneSpin had saw him, but yeah, just barely against the wall. Really nice return kill after Whalrus falls, which is important, right? Because CycloneSpin, he gets the first blood, and then right here at this Fire Giant.
This Gold Fury, we should say,
Supposed to be Gold Fury.
It's just the team working together to secure a kill and pick up the Gold Fury in the safety when Kiki was looking for something. Good plays with the Fear No Evil, combining nicely with his Leftsyndrome. Those two, support and jungle, very important to
Really
be on
good
the same wavelength, and that's exactly what they were.
And, you know, chases down Stealth in the back line as well. And even here, he lives. It's a turnaround from the team. They help him out. And then just really, I think the blink ults were the big thing, right? Yeah. Really nicely timed as well. And not just using them whenever. He really waited for Leftsyndrome to force the purification. That was really intelligent coming out from Randozos, which we saw them kind of struggling, chaining together abilities appropriately in the previous weeks. And now they seem to start to come online.
In game 2, we saw them chain them together perfectly on Omega at the start of the game as well.
Oh,
because you saw that ridiculous
so brutal
combo on Hercules. But this was actually First Blood, where they just noticing Eonic over and over again is charging in. So the call call gets made, and immediately Skeeledon says, okay, is he going to charge? Cool, let's get a free kill.
In 2.5 minutes, you're typically not seeing the jungler there, so that was really well timed from him. Eonic had no idea. All the early wards had faded off, and this is him just kind of resetting the fight. I believe he catches Omega here in the back. He catches someone here in the back.
I mean, he's trying to make plays is the issue, but he's against the frontline antagonists, and this is where Envy kind of got to a situation. Look at him, who did he go for? How did he get into him? He's going to deal with Disapparate. He's looking for an opportunity when he can, but his team are falling around him.
It's just really good spacing here, and I think this is the one where CycloneSpin comes around and starts to clean up here. Here's another Gold Fury fight coming up from Skeeledon. You can see him just in the back line, just trying to disrupt, and that knock up there doesn't allow Kiki to help finish off the Gold Fury, gets stolen away.
A messy fight from both teams here, but Envy were the ones that came out on top of this, as you can see. Just the front line is just too much for them. And the back line having a little bit of self-peel, especially for Stealth with the Disapparate, is just paid off so much for them in this game. I like the composition Envy ran here, but I think teams will start to destruct or like decompose that, not even decompose. I can't think of the word. My brain's dead.
Say it again. Let's start from the
No.
beginning. Say it
Teams
again.
will finally work out how to deal with the warrior jungle when they've got a warrior in solo lane and punish them for it.
All right, okay.
Words
okay.
are hard, guys. I'm sorry.
They're not easy, man. And here's Skeeledon. I think he escapes and finishes off Skeeledon with a really nice pull. That was great from him because he doesn't know when he's actually looking away if the knock-up happened. That was a call from Leftsyndrome. Leftsyndrome said, I've got him knocked up. Skeeledon quickly turns around, ults, finishes him off.
Well, we do also have an interview today as well from Eonic from Envy. Eonic, the new to the support role again for you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
Not
Doing
too
all
bad.
right.
Not too bad. So, talk to me about the transition to you back to support and how things are working, because I guess, you know, you've all moved around again, so it's just like this learning process one more time.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take me too long to get back into the swing of things for support, but
Rest of
it's
the
been
team?
pretty smooth for me, I would say.
How about Kiki? How is he doing transferring over to that hunter role? Obviously, you've played with Snoopy and some other top hunters in your time. Are you, kind of teaching him and guiding him on how to play laning phases and that such? Is he having an easy transition into this role? Because this isn't anything I don't think Kiki had wanted. He's just doing it for the team.
Well, Kiki played support for like a pretty long time before 80 carry, so I think he's doing pretty well with the laning phase, and he's doing much better than I obviously, like, transitioning to ADC for the first time is like hard, so he's doing much better than I expected him
So
to.
what's expectations of you and the guys of Envy right now? Because, I mean, at the start of the season, Envy, big name, almost went to Worlds last year. This time round, however, the start of the season seems to be a bit of a struggle.
Hopefully we're just gonna try and improve. Maybe you'll see us at DreamHack, but we'll have to buy our own tickets.
That was good.
But yeah, we're just trying to improve and get to this summer split and hopefully be a top team in the summer split and the fall split.
Okay. How's the morale on the team right now? Obviously, it's been a really rough streak for you. You guys had seven-game loss streak coming into this week, and then you split with Randozos, but finally break it there with that final game. Was that kind of a sigh of relief to finally kind of get over that hump?
Yeah, I mean, the morale isn't really that bad. Honestly, the morale's even better than when it was in TSM when we won the summer split, so
Okay.
things are looking up.
That's in a lot
That's
of
good.
things. Thanks for joining us, Eonic. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give before I let you go?
Shout out to Envy and all our sponsors, and shout out to my teammates, and that's about it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for joining us, Eonic.
Thank you.
Good to see you back in the support role. Had a good performance today, at least individually from what I saw in
Yes,
both those
solid.
games. So Eonic moves on with Envy, and they do split 1-1 with Randozos. Let's go to the standings, and you'll see what that means.
Enemy still sitting at the top there. 13 wins, 5 losses. Soar following closely behind them. And I said this. They've already faced each other twice now, so we're not going to see Enemy versus Soar. But I think that's going to become an iconic game in Season 3.
I think it will be as well. And I think when Luminosity and Eager, they're starting to nip on their heels too, we could see some interesting. Today, it's still not over. We've still got a little bit of European action to bring you.
Paradigm taking on Torpedo to close out Monday Night Smite. Paradigm just recently dropping 2 games to Hungry for More, so really need to come up with 2 big wins here to try and make themselves a staple top 3 team in Europe.
The real question is, though, is it Hungry for More that played well, or a Paradigm starting to slip? Let's find out as they take on Torpedo after this short break.